as you know, this module covers the story of output, efficiency, and costs. And let's start with the broadest measure of production, gross domestic product. If you take a look at chart 3.1, you'll see a chart that looks like this. Dullsville, just a line that seems to head up. Now and then it slows down a little with each recession. 2000, 1991, 1981, 82, but otherwise pretty dull. But if you head down to the next chart, at the bottom chart of 3.1, you'll see that things get a lot more interesting. Now, what connection does this chart have with the top chart? Very simple. This chart just gives you the percentage change in the top chart. And so the top chart is gross domestic product. This just represents the change, or the rate of change of gross domestic product from one quarter to another. And obviously, it makes a world of difference. So, believe it or not, this is just the change in the top chart, the change in gross domestic product at an annual rate from quarter to quarter. Typically, although this isn't official, people talk about a recession whenever there's 2 consecutive quarters of declining GDP. And so you can see most of the recessions we've had, 2000, 1991, 1981, 82, and so forth. And otherwise, as long as the line's in positive territory, even if it falls, as long as it's in positive territory, the economy is growing. It may be growing at a slower rate than it had, but at least it's growing. Okay, so output, efficiency, and costs. What does gross domestic product have to do with that? Well, it's our best measure of output. It's our broadest measure of output. It's really all the final goods and services that the economy produces. And as the broadest measure, it's the one that's followed by everybody to see whether or not the overall economy is growing. And you can see that since the recession of 2001, 2002, we're back on track. The economy has been growing, maybe not as rapidly as it was in the late 90s, but still, it's clearly growing. Now, this kind of measure, gross domestic product, really covers everything. I mean, it's not just goods, it's also services. It's not just manufacturing, it's also things like transportation and communication and government and finance and agriculture and construction and everything else. Well, if you want a very sensitive measure of where the economy is headed, some of those things are better than others. And so the question is there a measure which we can access easily? Is there a measure which is much more sensitive to economic fluctuations than this gross measure of everything? In other words, can we strip out some of the things like, delivering the mail and health care, which just tend to grow and grow and grow and don't fluctuate much with recession? Can we separate those out so we just get to the more sensitive measures of recession, which of course are the ones we'd like to follow? And the answer to that is yes. And as we move along in the module, you'll see what they are.